Okay, folks, we'll call this meeting to order. Let's do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Audience of citizens, the way I run this is if anybody has a question, we'll note it, and if we don't have the answer for you, we'll get back to you at a timely. Questions? No? Please, what you're on this.
Just a comment from the audience, it's going to be on this side of the fence.
Okay, now we're gonna do the approval of the minutes. December 17th, 2025, I need a motion.
I make a motion to accept.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. I need a motion for December 17th, 2025, the regular meeting.
I'll make that.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Correspondence. United States, you wanna read this one?
Yeah, let's see. This is,
No, just this one.
oh, right from,
Yeah.
okay, the United States Senate, Senator Richard Blumenthal sent us a letter informing the town of the Water Resources Development Act, which is a bill that will authorize Army Corps related water resources projects such as dams, levees, shore protection, which we don't have to worry about, dredging, and ecosystem replenishment. The letter is also requesting that the town provide information about any projects in our community that the town believes the Army Corps should make part of its program and be authorized under the Water Resources Development Act.
Thanks, Greg. We were advised that the deadline for this was January 16th, 2026, but what we're gonna do is the girls in the office are gonna see, call these Blumenthal's office and see if we can still get an extension on that.
Did they already call or are they?
No, not yet.
Okay, because this is very important, because the dredging of the two ponds, to save the ponds, would be really, really important. And I know that when I read what was going on, that they would want us to pay some of that, and all that kind of thing. But there's a lot of, it costs a lot of money, but they're willing to do it, and and we need it, so the ponds don't die, suffocate with all of this weeds and growth that's in there, taking up the oxygen so the fish can't live. So I would hope that they would call like today, please. Because the longer we wait, the more they're gonna say, oh, you didn't care about it in the first place.
Well, unfortunately, we had to cancel our last meeting, and this was on it, so,
But
but that's okay.
the correspondence came in though,
Yeah,
and so maybe that, well, yes, I understand, okay.
all right, B, Eastern Connecticut Conservation District, letter requesting the town's annual support in the payment of $500 for the fiscal year 26-27. We don't have to do anything on this. We'll pass this along to the treasurer to put on the budget. Senior Resource Agency on Aging, letter informing the town of the services and events being offered to the nonprofit organization. We have no action on that one either.
Can I just say something about that?
Sure.
The Senior Resources on Aging is somebody who can help us, as it says here. Some of these services include home delivered meals, caregiver support, respite care, Medicare counseling, benefits, screening and application assistance, money following a person nursing home transition kind of thing, healthy living classes, community resource funding, transportation, and much more. And they offer free and unbiased information to all older adults and those that care about them. That's very, very helpful to the town of Sterling. Senior Resources Agency on. So we'll hang on to that and call them if we need to, right?
Anything to say there? Good, okay. Which one am I on, D?
D.
Cable TV Advisory Council of Eastern Connecticut, a letter advising that the town needs 2 open seats to be fulfilled by appointment. One for the municipality and one for the Board of Education. I need a motion, guys, to appoint Corey Luba from IT to fulfill the position needed for the municipality.
I make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, pass. Plainfield Killenly Probate Court, proposed 2026-2027 budget with the town of Sterling share specified as 1872.52. There's no action we have to take on this either. We'll pass this on to the treasurer to put in the budget.
And could I just ask a question about that? I'm sorry. I understand probate when somebody dies, but what is this about proposed probate budget? Why is that written? Like, why do they use the word probate?
Watch out. You know that one?
If I may, probate court is, in this particular area, serves Canterbury, Killingly, Plainfield, and Sterling. That's a court that's held, their offices are in the basement of Plainfield Town Hall. Each town that it serves, has to come up with a portion of their fee. A lot of that money is paid for by the state Department of Justice, but a lot of the judicial department, I should say. But the towns, because people can access that, they have to have their own, we pay our dues. Those are our dues to them. That's an ongoing thing. So people have, if you had a will to be contested, you'd go to probate court. At the moment, I'm gonna go see the probate court very shortly because there's a person who's been designated years and years ago as the sexton of the Econ Cemetery, excuse me, of the Gallup Cemetery. Very inactive, but nonetheless, she's legally appointed. There's paperwork that shows that during Russell Gray's administration, Verna Cole was appointed to that position. She wants me to take that thing over. That has to go through probate court. That's just one of many things that they do. I don't know a whole list of what they do, but it's an ongoing thing. And so that money, that $1,800 is just our dues to belong to the probate court, of which we have no choice.
Oh, okay, so it does have things to do with wills and.
Oh, yes, anybody in Sterling that has to have a will contested, you know, I can think of a couple cases right off the bat where there are a couple of very serious things going on. They're all going to go through the probate court as well as the judicial system. So,
when I saw Plainfield Killing, I thought it had something to do with the schools.
no, there's 4 towns that get served by that district.
Okay. All right, I understand.
Thanks,
Thank
Luke.
you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay.
Connecticut Department of Energy Environmental Protection, letter notifying the town of a required dam inspection of the Sterling Pond Dam. I personally will call town engineer and ask him if he could do this for us.
Okay. And it did say in the letter that we have somebody, I'm thinking it would be you.
Yeah.
Would have to be there at the inspection and our town crew has to cut the brush beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay, so.
Yeah.
It was new to me.
That's okay. Okay. The next one, Barogi, did I say that right?
So,
I think so. Husky Solar, letter proposing to construct a 50 megawatt AC solar system. Oh boy.
substitute.
Substation.
Okay. Substation and 3 breaker ring bus switching stations located on approximately 202 acres across multiple parcels, including between Sterling Road and Sterling Hill Road in Plainfield, on Sterling Road in Sterling, plus on 2 parcels on Sugarbrook Road in Plainfield. Okay, I know you have something to say about it.
Yes, my goodness, they want to put in all of these solar panels on this property, and I see that it's not only in front of me, behind the Fontaine's house and down in back of Cooper's, and the other house down near the Bodos, it's behind that, going all the way up 202 acres of forest, and then behind me in the gravel pits that Corson owns. And I'm thinking well, for one thing, they're saying that the project is good for us because of the environmental benefits. But there's not an environmental benefit when you have to cut down thousands of trees that give us oxygen and to put up these horrible looking, and they say we won't see them, these panels. So I know that we're going to have to have them come in, right,
Yeah, they will.
and give a demonstration.
Right.
So we need to let the town know, not just my street and the streets in back and everything else, not just them, but everybody should hear their presentation before we do anything about this.
I think they probably contact the abutters of this property.
They haven't contacted me yet, and I'm right there.
May I ask a question? Would this have to go to planning and zoning?
I think it's gotta go to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
wetlands,
it's a long,
yeah, it's a long process.
yeah, they can't just decide to do it without.
No, they said it's like 2027,
Yeah,
but I remember when they tried to put a jet port in over Econk Hill, and if people didn't show up to object to that, we would be sitting in rooms and very loud planes. So we need to be on top of Viraji, I hope they tell us how to pronounce that, Husky Solar people.
Question, do they own these 202 acres?
no, I was told, they're gonna rent that land, is what I was told.
Do we know who owns it?
Yeah,
Corson owns behind me.
Oh, okay, so is it several owners?
yeah,
Do you know if they've met with these people?
I doubt it.
Oh, okay. So
I know,
do they even
actually,
know?
I'm sorry, I know they met with Porter.
Okay.
He had told me that.
So they're aware of what these people want to
Yeah.
rent their land for money, and do we know what their feeling is about this? The owners of the land?
No, we haven't heard anything.
Oh, first we've heard of this.
It's a long process.
Okay.
Can I ask what your name is for the minutes?
Karen is up, ICZO.
Sorry, one more time, Karen.
ICZO.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on. Unfinished business. Discussion regarding employment job descriptions for all recreation department employees. Did I get an update on that? I need a motion to accept and approve the employment job descriptions for all the rec departments.
I'll make a motion, like what I read looks good to me.
Okay.
Okay, so the only thing that's changed is this number
Yep.
here, the weekly hours.
Yep.
And this would be for any recreation director.
Yep.
And all of these are the same in the house.
Right.
All right, good, I second that.
All in favor? Motion moved. Discussion regarding new camera, Wi-Fi, and heavy-duty locking electric covers for the gazebo. I got an update on that. All the goods are ordered, and they should be in next week.
They are in, we just need them to come set it up.
Oh, okay. Good. All right. Discussion regarding recreation department finance and budget update. These items were back on December 17th. They were okayed at the town meeting. Discussion regarding 72-inch culvert pipes. I was told that that's gonna be be up on the government auction, site by the end of the week. So that's also. Discussion regarding U Street takeover law update. This one's a funny one because the only thing that holds us up on this one is, we have to find somebody that's gonna enforce it. That's the whole hold up on that. So,
Because we don't have town police,
but,
so we can't do the ordinance without somebody to enforce it.
yeah,
Is there a requirement for the person to fill this position?
I'm not quite sure. As Link, told me at one time, the first selected the police, chief of police in town. And, isn't that correct, Luke?
That's correct.
Yeah. But, you know, I don't know if I have the power to arrest or not, but we've got our attorney, looking into that, for me to see what happens.
Okay,
All right?
so that would inevitably be something that you would take responsibility for if.
Right, exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
wow. Do we call you?
All right. Discussion, regarding the purchase and installation of the radiator to the generator located at the Neil Cook, Park. That project was completed, January 13th, 2026. New business. Consider an appointment of Myron Jack Joslin to a one-year, term to the, Chamber of Commerce. I need a motion.
I make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consider an appointment of Neil Delmonico on a one-year term expiring 6/30/26 to the Economic Development Commission.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second
All in favor?
it. Aye.
Consider an appointment of Stephen Jocelyn to a two-year term expiring 6/30/27 to the Economic Development Commission.
I'll make that motion.
I second
All in favor?
it. Aye.
Okay. Consider and act on snow and ice policy. Did you guys read that?
Yes.
Okay. I need a motion to accept and approve the snow and ice policy.
Make that motion.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good, very thorough.
Consider and act on the DPW garage cameras. We need that all to be updated, and we got a quote for $1579.20 for the purchase of DPW garage cameras.
That's $1,579.20.
Yep.
And they need the cameras down there so they know what's going on in the
Right.
front and the back at the same time.
Exactly.
That's how where they are. Okay.
All right, Link, you're up.
Wait, we gotta make a
We need
motion.
a motion.
Oh, I make a motion.
I'll second it that we do
I'm sorry.
cameras.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Now, Lynch.
Thank you. This year is obviously the 250th anniversary of our country. And lots of different events have been planned around the nation. Every town has been asked to do something. There are collaborative efforts that have been suggested. As far as I know, town of Sterling hasn't done anything up to this point. We're within 5 months of the 4th of July. So my suggestion is that we have a picnic, a barbecue type picnic that would be more than just hot dogs, hamburgers and things of that nature. But it would be something we could hold and use the gazebo for. We have a very good spot out there, and we need to put together a committee to make this happen. What I'd like to see happen, but I'd be more than willing to listen to other members of the committee that we'd have to put together, would be just to have an event that's free to the public. And it's gonna be very hard to determine if you're from Sterling,
Yeah.
Allentown, or Plainfield, but that's just one of those things you can't really get around. Free food generally attracts a crowd, but it's just, and I'd suggest we do it on the 4th of July, which is a Saturday. The Friday night concert series would have started the night before. It's usually the first Friday in July. I suggest we have a Friday night concert, but on Saturday have a picnic. And what I need is your approval. Basically, I need your endorsement to do this. It's gonna cost some money. I would think we probably could do it for between $2,000 and $3,000. Food is expensive. We have to probably bring in 2 extra porta potties. We would like this, I don't know exactly what the agenda would be, because again, this would be up to the committee to do this. And I'd be happy to head up that committee. I've already had volunteers to help me on it. I'd just like to see something happen so we don't ignore the fact that, you know, the 250th anniversary, I don't want to see it come and go while I was doing something. And so that's my suggestion to you. And if I need, what I need is basically your endorsement. Yep. Be glad to answer any questions that you might have. See if I can.
I think the only thing is, it'll be tough to determine how much food we need.
By the way, oh, the food, there's no question.
Yeah,
It would be very difficult. It's just that my suggestion would include that we would have to have a couple of grills, okay? Family, they happens to own one. We could borrow theirs. We need another one. I would talk to the Grange and see if maybe the Grange would be willing to come up with, let's say, a booth, maybe a tent, we'll say a pop-up tent, and let them serve chili that they would make. They'd be responsible for that. There are other groups. There's Family Day. There's the Historical Society could possibly lend some help to this situation. But the food itself would be a variety of food. Like again, the committee would have to decide how much food to buy and how much food that we can get donated. And it's just, we have the pavilion to use for seating. I have a 20 by 10 tent that I'd be more than happy to put up on the lawn out there. We've got a lot of space. If the recreation department were involved, they could do games for the children and possibly games for the adults. I don't know. But we have all these fields. We have lots of room for this kind of thing. And that's the general rough outline. A lot of fine tuning will have to be done, but I need to have your approval and also the fact that you have to have some way to ensure that we can get the money to do this. That's all. We're way too late in the game to start raising the money, voluntarily raising the money for this kind of thing. Where there's many other things going on, there's no way in the world we're going to raise anywhere near that amount of money. So I suggest the town simply try to find a way to fund it. And I know it's not in your budget. I'm well aware what your budget says. It's just that I honestly think we can find it one way or the other. It would be a shame to see the event go by with nothing happening at all.
mhm.
I have a question. It's not audience comment. Can we talk about another committee or can Family Day committee spearhead this?
If I had a little more faith in the Family Day Committee, I would say yes. I don't think they're the ideal group to put this together. I think Recreation Department would be far better off, would be much more able to put this together than the Family Day Committee. I mean, I've been a member of the Family Day Committee for 20 years, but it would be very difficult for them to do this, put it that way. I think it would be far more efficient if the Recreation Department would sort of take the lead with some help. Anyway, that's my thought on that.
Well, I give you my blessing, Blake, if you want to go. How are you on?
I do too. I make a motion that we accept Blake's proposal, that he had it, and
I'm sorry, Ron, I can't hear you.
I said I make a motion to accept that you're gonna head this and spearhead it. And
I will put
get
it
everybody
together as
involved.
best I can, as long as I know that I have your blessing.
Yep.
You got mine.
And mine too, I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let me see.
Thank you.
Discussion regarding the overview of the water filtration plan, application and funding process. Judy,
Okay. I'm gonna do a very quick overview. The project for water filtration has been on the table for 5 years, 6 years. So just quickly, the need for the plant is based on the manganese in the water. The manganese level in the water is 6.5 times the state's action level. The iron is below, also exceeds the federal action level, but iron is not known to be a health issue for any. Manganese, however, can be a health issue. Currently, the water system serves over 300 residents, plus the school system. They also serve the industrial park and the fire hydrants. So the water system does have a lot of uses for the town. About 10% of the population uses the water system on a daily basis, plus the school uses the water system. So I wanted to cover a few things. The need for the project is really because of the quality of the water. The complaints that we usually will get from time to time, the water has a metallic taste. It can be cloudy. People's furniture fixtures are stained from the high level of manganese and iron in the water. Some will have sediment deposits in their water tanks and hot water heaters, and white clothes are difficult because the water will stain the clothes with their iron and manganese. We started flushing quarterly instead of semi-annually starting in December, with the hope that that would help keep some of the sediment from settling. There's a few what you would call dead ends in town on the end of Church Street, or where it ends in Church Street and on Grove Street, and there's probably others, where the pipe doesn't loop around. So when you do flushing, it will just push the sediment into those unless they uncap those and spray the water out from there. So whenever they do flushing, that's going to stir up the sediment. And I've started putting notices in the Sterling post office when we're going to do water flushing. Ashley will also post it on the town's website and on the water pollution control page of the website. The water is tested every month and it's always safe. It is treated for bacteria just as a course of action for any public water system, and that's not been an issue. So to move forward, we have two estimates to build a 100-gallon per minute capacity plant, which is what was recommended by the EPA. So the EPA funded for the town a preliminary engineering report, which we got the final report in September. So we had gotten an estimate through one company, Haley Ward, of 2.35 million. The estimate that's on the official preliminary engineering report is $4.99 million. Why is there such a difference? I don't know. We don't actually have a perfect estimate because we haven't gone out to anybody yet to design it, to build it, to oversee it. So some of the next steps that we have to do, it's kind of a chicken and egg. We need to agree that we want to go forward on this, which we really have to because we're providing a public water source that has a high level of manganese. And then we have to decide how we're going to go forward. So funding is a consideration, and also hiring contractors. So we have applied for funding through the department, the DWSF, which is the Connecticut's Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. There's also grants that will potentially be available to the town because we have what they consider emerging contaminants, which are natural. It's the high level of iron and manganese. They consider those contaminants in drinking water, and that we're a distressed community. So we may be able to get some funding for that. We won't know until we finish the application. So the application requires additional information. There's a financial application form 1, which has quite a few documents that need to be attached to that. And then there's another one. The FAA 1 is 10 pages long. The other one, I don't remember how many pages it is. And we're getting help from Matt Cassidy from RCAP to complete that. So the funding, if we were to borrow money from the state's revolving fund, it's at 2% interest. Right now, it's 2% interest with a repayment term of 20 years. So I calculated, estimated If we borrow $2.5 million, the annual payments would be just under 152,000, which equals 0.43 of a mil,
0.43.
0.43. So, right, so right now we're at 22.0 mils for taxes. If this was funded through tax revenues, that, again, this is completely just estimates. If we were to do this tomorrow and agree to do the funding, which we don't have the power to do at the town meeting, it has to go through a whole process. As of today, that would make our taxes 22.43 mils. So it would be whatever we're doing is going to create a tax increase.
And it's almost a half a mil, right?
Correct. So if we borrow the top of $5 million, it would be a 0.86 mil increase. So that's kind of the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. I mean, it would be fantastic if we could get fully funded. Who knows? I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket, but that would be an estimated financial impact between the lowest estimate we have and the highest estimate if we had to pay for the whole thing out of taxpayers' funds. So what do we need to do next? So really creating a project plan of, so my recommendations are that we create a team that meets regularly and has responsibility for the project. Which would include town employees, probably somebody from Whitewater. They're our certified operator of the water system, and they need to be aware of what changes are being recommended to the water system because they're the ones that manage the chemicals. They measure how much water we take out of the ground. They do meter reading. They do everything to do with our water system, except billing. RCAP, which Matt Cassidy, they provide technical assistance to us. Assigning responsibility for oversight within the town, completion of the financial application, which I'm working on. I'm gonna need help from Sarah and probably others within the town. Identification of any grants available. Municipal activities, we have to get all the required permits within the town. We need building permit, we need inland wetlands water courses. We need planning and zoning approval. As far as permits, there's potentially state permits that we need. We need approval to get the funding. We need the project approved, which will require meetings with Board of Selectmen, public hearings and town meetings, involvement with the Water Pollution Control Authority, the Board of Finance, Town of Plainfield with the sewer system, because this filtration system will create backwash, which will go into the sewer. I don't know how many gallons per day. So we currently pay for so many gallons per day to go into the sewer system. Depending, this may or may not put us over a threshold where we're better off to purchase another 10,000 gallons per day from the town of Plainfield for a fixed amount. But I don't know. We won't really know until the system is designed and we have engineering that tells us how much wastewater it's going to produce. Because this is going to be screening out iron and manganese, that will create sludge within the filtration system, so we'll have to be able to dispose of that. So it will increase the costs of the system, it's going to increase the insurance, it's going to increase potentially the cost of sewer, it'll probably increase the cost of electricity. I don't know what else is going to increase because I've never done one of these before. And we're looking for additional help through the state. So because we're getting funding from the state and potentially federal, we have to follow all of their rules. So they have a quality-based selection process. Normally for an RFP for the town, say you had to have a roof replaced. You do an RFP, you publish the RFP, anybody who's qualified comes to the walkthrough and they can bid. Before we do anything and hire anybody to do this work, first we have to vet them to make sure that they meet the state qualifications. once we determine that they do meet the state qualifications, then we can send out project for bid. Then you do the RFPs and then you get those back and then those have to be reviewed. So it's more involved than anything we've probably done potentially since the school.
And this is RFP is request for proposals.
I would also recommend, that once we get this going, we either add a page to our website or have a page on our website that specifically discusses the project, because it does, the final product, the quality water impacts 10% plus the school. But it will be a financial responsibility of everybody in town. So if everybody has a stake in this, we're supplying water, it has to be quality. So also additionally, within the town, the human resource impact. Human resource impact is somebody to oversee it. This is going to involve the treasurer, because once you start taking funding in, you get invoices that have to be paid, you have to fund the state to get the funding, and then the invoices have to be paid. So there's a lot to be done, and we can't. And I think right now is the time where we really need to start it. We're on the intended use plan for the state of Connecticut for funding for fiscal year 26, 27. So if we can get this moving forward and determine, get everything in place, maybe we can get the plan started before the end of the year, which would be nice. And so,
Can I ask a question? Is this being motivated by anybody? I mean, like, by anything legal? Is anybody saying, okay, you guys have got to get this thing fixed? I know you said it's not been on the table for like 5 or 6 years.
there's no legal action. The issue is that right now the level of manganese exceeds the state level. So they're not requiring us to move forward with this. The biggest issue that people that are on it have is sometimes it gets really murky water. Sometimes it comes out black. Sometimes it's just, people won't drink the water. And they would have to put a filtration system in their own home and manage that. But we're providing the water to the community, so it really should be of better quality.
Has anybody expressed interest in doing their own in-house system
People-
versus the big system?
It's not an option. We have to provide the water
Okay.
to them. Because then if you put in-home systems, who's gonna manage those? Some people aren't gonna wanna manage it. And they'll say, oh, well, you put it in, you manage it. We're not gonna manage systems within somebody's home.
So you said 300 residents, is it 300,
It's not 300 connections. There's 115 connections, which include the industrial park and the school.
okay, and how many households altogether? Do you know?
I don't have the breakout. I provided to the state a year ago, and we had. We have. Us 80, 90 households. 10 industrial, the school, and another, we have a restaurant, a social club, also that are using water.
And they're still building up on the hill. They still got
Yes,
houses they're
there's
putting up.
probably another 10 units to be built up there. So I'm just doing the overview, but you would consider, and I'll get more information to you if you want to get any questions. It's going to be a detailed process, but I'd like to know this is the route that we want to take. Either way, we have to do something. There has to be a decision made to go forward or not go forward. Has to be presented to the townspeople, to do the project and also to get the funding. So I can apply for the funding, but I don't have the tools in place to actually borrow them.
Would it be cheaper to dig a new well?
You can drill another well. We have 3 wells. We have 3 wells right now. They're all probably the same name. I live on Snake Meadow Hill Road and I have high manganese in iron. So you have to be, I don't know, other people in town don't, so I don't know where you would dig another well.
I do, I have something. The presentations I've been to, it's a factor in the town area
Yes.
as a whole. And bottom line, as far as I'm concerned, is we're talking about people's children.
And the manganese is mostly impacts children under 2 and then maybe older people who potentially has nervous system, but it's not proven, it's just a potential factor. And the issue with younger children is because some of them are on formula. Formula has manganese in it, assuming there's no manganese in the water, so
Do you know what the state level is for manganese?
0.3.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, mg milligrams per liter.
And so I know,
This is just an overview, I'm not asking you for anything other than probably I'll do a presentation to Jack with some other recommendations that I think at the next meeting, and maybe it should be on the agenda here and at WPCA. WPCA technically doesn't control water, but that's where most of the communications come from.
I had a question, it's, the complaints that I heard, were, well, why should we have to pay for their water problem? Because if I have a water problem, I have to dig a new well, this town is not gonna help me with that. So that's the only thing I've heard, but everybody else is saying, they deserve to have good water.
Well, it's also the town that provides the water to them. They don't have, if you're on the water main,
Yeah.
you have to have water, just like if you're where the sewer line runs, you have to connect to the sewer. So they don't have another option.
Okay.
Because some of the homes have their own wells, but they can't use them on our water
No
system.
kidding. Oh,
I mean, this goes back,
years
Is
and
that,
years.
is that a district thing?
it's an ordinance.
Town ordinance?
It's pretty much follows state statutes.
A lot of discussion gonna happen.
Well, discussion.
Well, it's gonna be a long process.
But we should get started, then, right? What are you looking for today?
Can we put this on the agenda for the next meeting to make some other recommendations?
Mhm.
in the interim?
Has anybody looked into like what is the impact, let's just say if they put individual systems into the houses, like what is the, like, I know you said like the town's not gonna do the maintenance, but I know we have a system, because we have the same problem, we have high iron manganese, so we have the same thing, it's very low, our system is very low maintenance, it's like a 3 to 5 years, good to go type thing, so we're probably on year 4 right now with ours.
That had been discussed through RCAP, and that was something that the town was not going to fund individual systems.
Okay.
Good. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Excuse me, thank you.
Could I make a comment?
Sure.
What you've just heard, since I have a little background in this situation, is a very complete, concise update, which is what your agenda calls for.
Mhm.
Judy has taken on this project almost single-handedly about a year and a half ago. We all know what we had to do. It's just that I needed someone to kind of be the point person here. Judy happens to collect the taxes for the water system, so she's very familiar with that part of the process. And she took on the project to more or less just help me. But she's taken it over. And with her typical enthusiasm, her typical efficiency, and we should all say thank you to that young woman, because I'll tell you right now, she's young, she's a lot younger than I am, so she's still a young woman. What I'm saying is she has done a marvelous job. It's nowhere near over. We've got a long way to go. What the project needs is your unqualified support, because this is not a matter of if, this is a matter of what we have to do and how to get there. She meets frequently with a couple of people that we've had to join, join a group that helped us, what we've accomplished so far. And believe me, there's nothing easy about this. There's just not, it's just an extremely complicated process. She's just giving you the bare bones of the complications. If you could see what they are, really, you'd say, holy cow, how do we ever get through this? This would almost make building a new school seem like child's play. Patty knows what that's like, because she was on the board of that. I was on that board. It is not easy. That is simple in many ways compared to this. So this is just, it's a matter of, if you want somebody's money, they're gonna make sure you play the game their way and do it exactly the way they want you to. And I understand that. If my money were involved, I'd probably do the same thing. All I'm saying is she has taken on a huge project, and she's extremely good at it. And we should all be very grateful that she is. But we need to be, as a town, the government of the town needs to be completely behind this project, because the question is gonna be asked, like you suggested, Patty, why should I pay for this? I have a well. If my well should fail, I don't come to the town and ask them to replace my pump. On the other hand, almost everyone in this room that pays taxes in Sterling can say, why should I pay for the school system? I don't have any children there. Look around. You have grandchildren. But I mean, that's as close as we can come. Do we question the fact that, I don't question the fact that I have to pay taxes to support the school system. 75 cents out of every dollar goes to the school. I don't question that. But it's just that those questions, and if those are legitimate questions. Some of the people that you're going to talk to or hear about this are going to be hearing about it for the first time, not even realizing we have a water system. They may drive by it every day, but they're not going to say, what are those buildings out in the field? But they never give it a thought, because they've never had to deal with it. In all the years that we've had issues with this water system, and it's been going on for a long time, the Water Pollution Control Authority has never had even though people have been asked, not a single person has ever been on that Water Pollution Control Authority from affected the people that run that well system, that water system, not a one. So everybody that's ever sat on that commission since I've been on it, which is about 15 years, you don't have a representative of the people who are dealing with the water. So it's easy to put it aside and say, well, it's their problem, not our problem. Well, all of a sudden it is our problem, and it has been for years. The health department has been extremely lenient with us, because the Department of Public Health has known all about this for a long, long time. And I'm quite surprised actually that they haven't come and actually, using the term, put the hammer down and say, you will get this fixed. They haven't done that. So they're working with us as well. And it's a long-term project. You want to know one of the oddities in this situation? Judy mentioned the dead ends on the water system. Grove Street's a perfect example. You're familiar with Grove Street? It's off of Main Street. It kind of bends around like this, comes to a dead end. Well, so does the water system. If she suggested it doesn't loop back, it doesn't, it stops right there. So that means all that sediment has a tendency to build up in those areas. The school is exactly in the same situation. The water goes down Route 14, toward, on Route 14. Bob Glass is the last house on that line. No, it isn't, excuse me, he's not. But right after his house, it goes up the hill to the school, which is a perfect dead end. Except they don't have a problem. And they don't have a filtration system. Figure that one out and you're all set. But anyway, these are some of the oddities of the situation. But we need to get behind this project as a government completely, no question about it. And be grateful for what Judy has done and what she's continuing to do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liz.
Yeah, thank you, Judy, too.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on here. I need a motion to approve the bills.
We don't need to do anything about the water filtration system,
Yep. No, we're
we're gonna put it on the next agenda.
Yep.
That's all. Okay, all right, I'm sorry. Okay, I make a motion, please. I make a motion to approve the bills.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, did you guys look at the, treasurer's report?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right, couple more things. Any other business should come before the Board of Selectmen? B&H quote for capital IT account. Sarah, you want to talk about this?
So we just did the, excuse me, the capital fund transfers, for 5 accounts, I believe, 5 or 6. One of the accounts was IT, based off of a 5-year IT plan. So this quote is for year 1 of the 5-year IT plan. Corey was the one that reached out with it. So the quote is for updating items in the town hall that need to be updated and for getting us up to speed with IT. So this is just the bare minimum for year 1. Hopefully year 2 will get us a little more up to speed and, a little more into the current year, a little less outdated.
When you say items in the town hall, what do you mean?
So we have battery backups that need to be redone. So if you've walked past Jack's office in the last couple days, you'll hear beeping in the closet. The battery backup's dying. New laptops for some of our employees. Some of our employees are using 10 or 12-year-old laptops. So we're hoping to get those updated. Cameras need to be updated. Not sure how familiar you are with IT terms, but access points need to be updated, Wi-Fi needs to be updated. In a few years, we're gonna get our server updated, things like that.
A lot of items.
It's a lot of items. We're slowly but surely working on getting everything updated and, new. Some of this stuff hasn't been updated in quite a few years.
Thanks, Sarah. No, I need a one motion.
It needs an approval for us to get it
I
ordered.
need a motion to accept with regrets. the
Wait.
res-
I need an approval for the quote so we can get that
Oh,
stuff
I'm
ordered.
sorry, I'm
You're
sorry,
good, it's okay.
I'm sorry. So that's a motion,
I make a motion, okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now, I need a motion to accept with regrets the resignation of Sarah, from the EDC and Ashley from the Safety and Ag Committee.
We need to do them separately.
I gotta go check on them. All right, Sarah from the EDC, I need a motion.
Economic Development
Yep.
Commission. And is there a reason that Sarah's leaving the?
Yes, yes, there is. She took over as, grant writer.
Grant writer, thank you. Need that. Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Now Ashley from Safety and Ag Committee.
You're leaving, there's,
It's states in water line.
I didn't get a letter.
I just got it.
Oh.
Just got it.
We also have to backtrack after. We have to backtrack about the EDC thing too. You have to say who's replacing her.
Well, we should have, yeah. Right?
Suzanne.
Oh, yeah, I got that right there.
Okay. On the resignations and then. Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
Also, I appointed Jenny to the Safety Committee, and Suzanne is taking over the position as Economic Development Commission Coordinator.
Suzanne Tatro.
Yep, Susan Tatro. Yeah, it's appointment. So we're good on that.
We need to back up.
What?
We need a motion for each of the letters. I have one for Sarah. I need one for the Ag Commission resignation letter, and then I need one for the Safety Committee. And then you need to make motions to appoint Jenny to the Safety Committee.
The new.
I know.
Well, I just got these 5 minutes ago.
Well, that's why I was
So-
trying to make it to a different meeting.
Well, I thought I just did that.
You need to approve each one separately.
I did.
Not yet. Just do it again.
All right, so we already did Sarah, she's good.
Sarah's good.
And I did, Ashley. You made a motion on Ashley.
No, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay,
All in favor?
Aye.
Ashley now is off of one and on to the other.
I'm off of
Just
two.
off of,
Up of 2.
off of 2. And now we need to
Appoint Jenny.
appoint Jenny, and he can just do that on his own, right? Or do we make a motion
There needs to be a
I'll
motion.
make a motion.
that we appoint Jenny to the safety?
Yes.
Yep.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good now? No?
I think you're good.
Suzanne? Okay.
All right, the last one. Need a motion to adjourn.
Did you want any other business to come before the board of selectmen?
Oh, we just did this. No?
You didn't ask that.
Anything, Patty?
There you go. Let's see. Bring that up. Well, it's just one thing. There are more than 50 cars and trucks and buses across the street from the herb store on Water Pond Road. And we talked with Link this morning, and Link said that this was started about 20 years ago and just continued to just develop. And I'm wondering if we can put that on the agenda next time so that we can address that and how to take care of that area. I don't think they have any kind of permit for, what do you call that?
Junkyard.
Junkyard, yeah. And so I guess my question is, can we address that next time?
Sure.
I don't think we can do much because the person who owned that recently died. So it's probably gonna go through probate.
But did he own across the street?
As far as I know, he did. You'd have to double check with the town clerk.
Bob at the homestead. or
Yeah.
homestead?
Yeah, last I knew he did. You'd have to double
Yeah, I
check.
heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's all tied up now.
yeah.
But I would rather do something than nothing. You know, about that. I mean,
I don't know what we can do. You can double check with the town clerk.
and what with us. You know. So we don't have to put it on the agenda?
Look, go ahead.
What's that?
I said we don't have to put it on the agenda for next week? Next
Well, you've got to
time?
deal with it somehow. My suggestion is that's probably in violation of an ordinance that is on the books already, which limits the number of unregistered vehicles you're allowed to have in your yard.
Yes.
It's an ordinance that we haven't really followed very closely. Again, it's a matter of enforcement. It's always a matter of enforcement. But the assessor will know what vehicles are, he has a list of all the vehicles in town that are registered. Those are unregistered vehicles. So part of the process might involve him because he has those lists of registered vehicles. It's going to come down to enforcement. And we don't have police, obviously. How you're gonna get the state police, even if you were in violation of an ordinance, and we can prove that without doubt, somebody has to go up there and force someone to take those vehicles out of there. Literally. I mean, who is going to do that? You're the board of selectmen. You have more power in town than anybody. How would you three do that? How would you do it? You can make any order you want. But who's going to go up there and do it? That's why I say it comes down to enforcing the ordinance. But I think you'll find that it does violate an ordinance that's already in effect. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be done, Patty, not for a second. I'm just saying it's a matter of enforcement, just like you've talked about the street takeover thing.
Yeah,
And I think it's a wonderful idea if you can get that on the books. But who is going to enforce that? The state police are gonna tell you, we don't have time to do that.
So we
We don't have the manpower to do that.
need a police force. Sterling police.
That's another story.
Yeah, that's.
How long do you want this meeting to last? But anyway, I think you'll find if you did check the ordinances, you will find there is an ordinance on the books that indicates just how many unregistered motor vehicles are allowed to be in your yard. But then you gotta think about something. If you were to take on this issue on Porter Pond Road, are you gonna ignore all the other ones in the yard, in the area?
No.
You could right down to the end of Newport Road, where it goes on to, right before it comes to Woodland Road, there's at least a dozen vehicles in that yard that may or may not be registered. You're opening up a can of worms, and I'm not saying it shouldn't be done, I'm just saying it's just not as clear cut as it may look, you know?
I think it should be done, because we've had complaints about Gibson,
Well, didn't we try to get a blight ordinance in not too long ago?
What's that?
A blight ordinance? Didn't we try?
We have talked about a blight ordinance, I think we may have, that again, that's a blight ordinance is a slippery slope,
I
it
know.
really is, it's just, it sounds so simple when you put it on paper.
Yeah.
What if the blight ordinance that you've just put, you know, into effect, what if, just think about this for a second, the ordinance says the grass in your yard should not get to be above 2.5 inches tall. You all agreed to that, the town has agreed to that, you go on vacation in the month of May. No one mows your lawn, you come back 3 weeks later and your lawn is 4 inches tall,
let's leave the grass.
are they gonna be cited for that? This is the slippery slope that I'm talking about. And again, with any ordinance, it comes down to enforcement. Who is going to enforce it?
I'm wondering if we can't tie up that junkyard with the settling of the estate. Somehow.
Ashley's point is well taken, because that probably isn't probate right now.
Yes, and we can get maybe involved in that just a little to, where that has to be cleaned up. I don't know. Something to look into.
That would be a matter of how much the probate court is allowed to talk about, cases that are in process, is anyone's guess, I don't know. Could they answer a question, simply the question could be, has this been settled yet? It'd be rare, probate cases are very slow, but, I'm throwing a wet towel on all you're talking, I don't mean to,
No.
I'm just, there's another side to all this, and that is called enforcement, and how do you plan to get it done? I would imagine the town would buy this, if you found out that you needed an ordinance to this effect, or if there's not one already there, I bet you could get it through.
Yeah, but then couldn't get it enforced, because we
Then
don't.
what are you gonna do, you know?
Patty,
Yeah, oh, me, yeah.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't have ordinances, you know?
sure.
Right.
You suppose the gentleman who's gonna come in this afternoon, John Gusowski, from 12 to 4? You suppose he's the zoning enforcement ordinance? That's a zoning ordinance that they're violating in all likelihood. Is he gonna work there, you suppose? And say, you gotta move all these vehicles? On whose authority?
He could.
On the
Could
town
say
council?
it, yeah.
And you can see, it gets to be complicated, everything gets to be complicated that way. But they're not the only ones, they may be the biggest visible violator, but believe me, there's a dozen other ones in town that fall in the same category, just on a smaller scale.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
All right,
I
anything
bet
else?
you're gonna be glad I was at the meeting, huh?
No, I'm all set.
You good, Ron?
I'm good.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.